Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Sebastien Borget, Co-Founder and Chief Operating Officer at Sandbox, to discuss the role of the metaverse and culture. Sebastien, it is great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Jill.
What is the role of the metaverse in a fragmented world? How can it bring people together around the causes, brands, and communities they care about the most?
Well, I think the metaverse give us an opportunity to build a new digital society that's not going to repeat the mistakes that we've seen already in the physical world of what Web2 technology has driven us for. For the first time ever, we can provide users with true digital ownership of their data, and through that, empower people through giving an opportunity to a more equal opportunity to jobs, more opportunity toward decentralization, more chance to also raise awareness and deliver a message both to government and the public side and private side to take action and to create a digital world where everyone has access to equal chances and will be the owner of that world. We are all becoming avatars and digital citizens of that new global digital nation that is in the making, that is the metaverse.
What is the significance of the World Economic Forum Metaverse Initiative?
I think it's really a step forward, showing that there is an interest, a desire to move forward from both the public sector and private sector here to open those conversations and to think together how the making of that new global digital nation that plays that more than half of the world population will probably be engaging within the 10, 20, 30 years now that more than half of the world population is digitally native. And we want to make sure that it's going to be thought and designed to empower users, to make sure that it is going to protect rights toward both the digital right ownership, creating new jobs, but also ensuring it's done in a democratic way. And it's not going to lead towards the collection of data and the use of data for either advertising purpose or for what we've seen before in Web2 that potentially affected our democracies.
Right. Sebastien, I want to ask you about governance for a moment here. You said that at the outset that we don't want to make the same mistakes with Web3 like we did with Web2. Content moderation is one of those mistakes, and what that looks like. In fact, the Supreme Court in the United States is hearing two very key cases to figure out what this roadmap looks like going forward. Who controls the content? How do we make sure in the metaverse that bad actors are not dispersing content that could hurt people?
I think it's all related first about education around understanding better the content that's being made accessible, and the fact that now, thanks to ownership, the blockchain, we have access to the transparency and trust of what that content, where that content originates from, who are the author of that content, who are the creator of that content. And through community-driven incentive, because users are the owner of their data, we can first of all provide the notion of digital identity that allow users to decide what their data, what specific attribute of their data will be used and where they would be used, and also involve the user potentially in participating into the moderation of the content that's being produced. And that's something new that can be not just concentrated into the power of few people here to decide the fate of those digital nations, of digital world, but that's something that can lead toward a more democratic and virtual world and decentralized nation that are actually being controlled by their users, and where users can participate into the public good of reporting content that is inappropriate and taking action forward to it.
Tell us about your work with the Open Metaverse Alliance.
So the Sandbox is one of the founding member of the Open Metaverse Alliance. It was announced last November during Web Summit. A certain number of decentralized virtual worlds such as the Sandbox, Decentraland, Crypto Voxels, Appleland, Animoca Brands, Alien World, Spaces, etc., came up together with this idea that how do we contribute to like this vision of the open metaverse, like defining clearly what the metaverse is, offering the ability of users to truly own their data and move their data from one world, from one platform in a seamless manner without being constrained by centralized siloed walled garden platform. And second, establishing a working group to enable interoperability of the content, the notion of digital identity and reputation, because it's not just about representing your avatar from one world to another, but it's also taking all your experience, all the skills, all the content you own and you accumulated as you interacting and participated into those worlds, your skills, your experience, your token, your currencies, your work, your lands, etc. And we have 3-4 working groups with the member. One is around digital identity. One is around like portaling and transportation across those worlds. One is definitely around like participating into like every legal aspect and the policies to help educate and potentially facilitate having common policies across countries to support this notion of true digital ownership and a digital identity.
So it really sounds like interoperability is going to be key for the metaverse being successful.
It is at the core of the notion of the open metaverse. And it needs to be built on a technology that's trustful, transparent, and so far today, blockchain is the only technology that provides such guarantees.
Right. And Sebastien, to wrap up here, how can this offer an entirely new pathway to build financial value for both content creators and investors?
Now that you understand that blockchain is the layer to develop the open metaverse, and like your identity, all the content that you create or you earn as you interact into those worlds is actually a digital asset on a blockchain that can be scarce, where you can track the authorship and the ownership. You can develop actually a whole digital economy on top of it that will lead to the creation of millions of jobs. And further there, we have also decentralized finance and even decentralized governance, making the users, the creators, or the players who contribute to develop the value of such a virtual world actually be the main stakeholders and the one that benefit the most through the creator economy of the value they bring. And we're seeing that at Sandbox already. We have tens of thousands of creators who are earning a revenue. We've generated already jobs and distributed millions of cents towards those creators. And we think like the more users are getting in Web3, creating a wallet, owning their identity, owning their digital asset, and being able to move from one world to another, it creates value because like it helps users to develop their full life and enables new use case, more utility over like that lifetime journey of users, which in a way is replicating a more democratic physical world and enabling anyone to have equal access to such opportunities.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it through the lens of utility. Sebastien, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.